What's up, YouTube? It's Drag Bus Dave. This is going to be an update video on the big plastic Rubbermaid tub of cars I got from the flea market yesterday for 70 bucks. Several people been asking about doing a recap on what all I found, because I made it only so far yesterday, and I actually found some of the best stuff for a couple of really nice things on the bottom two rows, bottom two levels of the stuff yesterday of the bin. Up first, I just want to go ahead and show these just as to keep things so people know that these are my three first edition drag buses right here in Protectos that I've had since prior to yesterday. Number 372 first edition drag buses, and I've had those three, but now, and I've actually got a fourth loose one that I opened up, but I've got a surprise of what was on the bottom of this container. Let me keep these over here. It's just so people know. Somebody might say, oh, well, you had three of those, put that in the case. Anyway, that we had found these were on top, the blue cars, right? The Kenworth Big Rig, the Aurora, and the Bug. And then actually this version of the Bug, the black walls, the blue card, there's some later releases that were in there. A couple of those, that was cool. I liked these Land Rovers that were in there. Which I'd had a couple of those before. Now I've got extras. By the way, if anybody sees something that, because I'm going to have extras of a lot of this stuff, if somebody wants to do some trading, let me know. There was a Speed Gleamer T-Bucket that I didn't get to show yesterday, another 67 Camaro. I think I showed that 57 Chevy. These I just have to re-show again. That Sweet Stalker, man, that thing in Lee's is like 35 bucks, and then these are like 20 bucks. These Chevy Stalkers, and there were two of those, so that was really cool. Oh, okay, so here's some of the real, and then the Pearl Driver series was in there, that set. There were 4 Scorch and Scooter first editions. And, well, 3 of the regular U.S. Card that says 97 First Edition Scorch and Scooter, and then this one has exact same tampos. It's a First Edition release. The bike is, but it says Scorch and Scooter instead of 97 First Editions, and it says number 9 de 12 instead of 9 of 12 on this First Editions. And both have a 1997 copyright date on the back, although this looks more like a 98 card. I wonder if it came out late in Canada. If somebody knows more about that first edition Canadian Scorch and Scooter, why it has the 97 bike in there, and it's got a copyright date of 97, but that's a 98 artwork, I thought. That's just weird. Maybe it's a transition piece, a Canadian/transition piece. But anyway, those are cool. And those things are like 10, 15 bucks a piece in Lee's. I know they don't really probably go for that, but it's still cool. A couple of construction pieces. I had showed those yesterday, I think. A couple of classic Packards, really cool. There ended up being several first edition dairy deliveries. A couple of treasure hunts I found down in there. There's another Bug and another fat fendered 40. I've got several of those now. I've actually got an extra one of these. I've only got one of this Viper, so I'm going to keep that. But if somebody wants the extra 34, because I picked up one of those a couple of months back, I think. London Bus I really liked. These London Taxis, the Corgis, I really like. First edition Radio Flyer Wagon. These are just regular first edition dairies. I've double checked those, as well as this one. But this one is the one I was psyched up about. It says Moo Mobile instead of, let me get one of the regular first editions out. Instead of saying 1998 first edition dairy delivery, It says Moo-Mobile, and it doesn't say anything about first editions or 98. And instead of saying number 10 of 40 cars, it says number 10 of the 48. Really cool. So instead of 40, they had 48, I guess, in Canada. So needless to say, the Moo-Mobile and the extra drag bus. I wish I could have got my reaction on video because it was it was classic. I mean, it was like a kid at Christmas. I was really excited. And you would think with already having 3, finding another one in that case would not be that big a deal, but it was pretty cool. Anytime you feel like you've gotten a good value for your money, I mean, or especially with me, I guess. There were 2 Oscar Mayer Wienermobiles. I've got extras of these if anybody wants to trade for some of that stuff. These tow trucks are really cool. That's the Ford Transit Wrecker. Couple of Silver Series Woodies. One is 7 spokes. One is 5 spokes with the back, with the tampo in the back. 67 Camaro. One of these 67 Camaros, oh, it's this one. Let me see if I can find the other one. Here's the other one. Okay, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this. I really hope I can show you this, everybody. See how I'm holding these the same direction. On the top car, the text is right side up this way. See that? Hot Wheels. I'm surely you can kind of make it out. 67 Camaro, Mattel Inc., 1982. But there's no country under the date and Mattel. On the bottom casting, the text is flipped upside down, and it's got a date on there. So let me hold it the other direction to where the text is right way up on both cars. They're back to back, flipped around, but this way you can read both. See how there's extra text on the on this car? That's because it's correct. It has all the country, Malaysia, all that stuff on there. The bottom one has no country label printed on it, which makes it like I think it was like 15 bucks or something, because it's a variation. But I almost didn't catch that. See, they look exactly the same. So I've still got some more searching to do, but needless to say, yes, there are variations in here as much as or as no country on the base. You know, no country on the base. So I have to look close at some of that stuff. Yes, these were 2 of the big finds, along with, I think probably these 3, obviously, were 3 of my favorite finds in the bin. But you can't stop with that because guess what? The container is still full in here. There's still several rows down through there. I mean, I've only got enough room to barely squeeze what I pulled out back in there. And actually, it was overfilled a little bit. The lid didn't snap shut when I left the flea market yesterday. But, you know, there was stuff like this 30th anniversary pieces. There were 4 of those. My favorite of which, I think, is the Stingray with red lines. But I also, you know, I liked the Woody and the 32 Ford. So anyway, there was some really cool stuff in here. There's tons of extras if anybody needs something. There's like 2 and 3 of a lot of this stuff. These assault crawlers, there's a couple of those. There's like 2 or 3 neat streeters. There's extra Wienermobiles and dairy delivery first editions. Although I'm going to keep the Moo-Mobile Canadian. I may have to do a contest on the extra first edition bus because I don't know how I would choose who to send that to. I'd like to maybe give it away. Maybe I can do a contest. Somebody has a suggestion, let me know. I've seen people do races, although I don't have a you know, a 6-lane raceway or anything yet, so I don't know how I'd go about doing that unless I run over to Target and pick up a big racetrack. But I'm sure there's another way I could figure out a contest. Anyway, so yeah, there's some cool stuff. Oh, there's that Mustang Cobra and the rig there with the Ford LTL on the package. 80s Firebird was really cool. just tons of stuff. I like that Ferrari F40. That thing is in the that casting is in Boulevard, right? This Ferrari is really cool. 308 GTS. Anyway, that's kind of a wrap up on the big case of cars that I picked up from the flea market. I hope that everybody enjoyed checking that out. And like I said, if there's anything that somebody sees that they, would like to possibly trade for or whatever, just send me a message and let me know, and see what I can do, because I've got tons of extras. I plan on trying to do some maybe some Christmas gift type stuff out of here. Make up some bags and donate a few, some of the castings. But like I said, I'll probably keep a few. The Canadian pieces are neat, like the Moomobile. But just send me a message. Let me know if there's something you see that you like. And I hope everybody's having a good weekend. And I'll catch you later. Peace.